Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you 10 series which are so famous but I'm not that much interested in reading them. I recently made a video in which I've talked about 10 famous series which I want to read. So the 10 series I'm going to talk about in this video are those which I will probably not read, or I don't at least have the idea of picking them up anytime soon. So without any further ado, let's get into the series right away. The first one is probably the most famous of all the series in this list, and it is the Twilight saga by Stephenie Meyer. Many people have asked me whether I've read Twilight or not. I'm saying now I've not read Twilight so far, and I'm not interested in reading it in the future also, because I've not heard that many good things about the books. Okay, I've heard that while the books were released, during the times they were like on the peak and attracted a lot more young adult audience into reading. That was a series which was loved by many people, but as the years have passed on, many people have just found it so problematic and not right, to be just blunt. So I'm not that much interested in getting into a series which is more problematic than good. Another reason why I'm not interested in reading the series is because it's basically just a vampire romance and also a love triangle. I've heard that the love triangle in this one is not that great, but I do like vampire stories in which the vampires are actually filled with bloodlust rather than just lust. So I'll probably never ever read Twilight. Next one is a Booktube favorite, and as soon as I say this, I'm sure that many people are not going to like me at all. And I have to say this because I read this first book 3 years back, and after that I've not at all continued on with the series. And I'm talking about Throne of Glass by J Maas. I've read like 4 or 5 J Maas books so far. Throne of Glass is one, and I've read the first 2 books in the Akota series, and I've read Catwoman Soul Stealer also. But none of them were like that good that I wanted to continue on with the series or her writing in specific at all. Now talking about Throne of Glass, I can say that I enjoyed this book a lot while I read it for the first time, but while I think back on it, I can feel like there was not that much substance, and it just set up many things, but it doesn't seem like this is the main plot of the series at all. I've also heard that the series picks up only from the 3rd and 4th books. There are just 8 books, and if it takes like 3 to 4 books to just get started with the main stuff, I'm not that much interested in spending so much time. And I also know that she writes her books so long and they are all bricks. I don't have that kind of time either, but I'm interested in reading Crescent City. Since this series is mostly predominantly romance that is just set in a fantasy, I'm not interested in reading this. The next one is the Divergent trilogy by Veronica Roth. The main reason why I'm not interested in this is because it is dystopian. Okay, I have not at all had a really good experience with any of the dystopians that I've read so far, and I've also not heard that many good dystopian series out there. Usually I like my books to be entertaining and action packed sometimes, but when it comes to dystopian, the action just plays a really major role, and the atmosphere itself is something where I don't like to be, and I don't like reading books like that. I've heard that Divergent starts out really good, in the middle it becomes better, and towards the climax it's just so horrible. It also has a short story collection, I think, I'm not sure, but I'm not interested in reading this because of the fact that it is old first of all, so it'll have a lot of tropes. The second one is that it is dystopian, and I'm definitely not attracted towards that genre, and many people seem to either like it so much or hate it so much. I usually fall right in between when it comes to books like that one, and I don't want to experience such a thing, so I'm not interested in reading this. The next one is a sci-fi series, and it is the Illuminae trilogy by Amie, Kaufman and J Kristoff. I read the Nevernight trilogy by J Kristoff this year and I totally loved it. Okay, it is a grimdark fantasy series, and I just got everything that I wanted and expected from the series. Even the ending was really well done by the author. I did not expect things to end up in a specific way. I knew that it would be a bittersweet ending, but it was a bittersweet which I was not comfortable with, but I liked it at the same time. The reason why I'm not interested in continuing on with the Illuminae trilogy is because I read the first book on audio. Okay, I did not read the physical book, but I've heard that while you read it as a physical book, Illuminae is even better. But I loved the audio book itself. I think I rated it 5 stars the time I read it. This was also sometime in college 3 years back, and then I picked up the second book, which is Gemina, and it was like a total disappointment for me because the first book was super good that it just felt like watching a space opera for me. But Gemina was just like a copy paste of Illuminae, but with just a little bit of alterations to the characters and very minor things in the plot. It felt like the exact same things were happening again and again, and it did not feel like a different book at all or a continuation of a series which I loved in the beginning. Also, these books are huge. Okay, I think they are like 500-600 pages each, so most probably I'll never continue on with this. The next one is yet another Booktube favorite, and it is the Folk of the Air trilogy by Holly Black. I have read the first book in this one also, which is The Cruel Prince. I read it in 2019, I think, in audiobook, and I should say that I liked the book, but I did not love it or enjoy it that much because more than half of the book is just this prince guy who's the cruel prince bullying our main character who's Jude. Okay, our main character is half Fae, half human, and she is just brought into the world of the Fae along with her twin. The only superpower that our main character has in the world of the Fae is that she can lie, but none of the Fae can lie. So that is kind of a superpower for her because she knows how to lie to the Fae and get her stuff done. It was like not that great. It was angsty. Okay, the romance was angsty and it was a bit okay in the first book. I've heard that it becomes far better politically as well as romantically in the second book, and towards the climax people just have mixed opinions as far as I've seen. In the first book also, the politics and the thrill element of the fantasy was not that great if you ask me. The atmosphere was really good. I was able to see the Fae world in which all these people were living and the different types of Fae. All those things were really good, but it just felt like a lot of build up for just the climax itself, which happens in like a chapter or two. So I'm not interested in continuing on with this. The next one is an adult fantasy series, and it is the Outlander series by Gabaldon or Gabaldon if I'm not wrong. The TV show for this series is really famous. I think it is available on Netflix. I have not watched the show as well as read the books. I know that all the books in the series are huge and they are like placed during different time periods if I'm not wrong, because I've heard that this is a time traveling fantasy saga with a huge romance in its core, which just builds up the whole series. I've heard only good things about this, but the thing which intimidates me the most is that there are a lot of books in the series and all of them are so huge, and I've not even heard that many people talk about them. I've heard only good things from the people who've read it, but I've not seen that many people that have read it, so I don't think it might be that much worth it for me. And also, I'm not a person who's inclined to reading romance as the central point in any of the books that I read. If it's a romance standalone, especially a contemporary, then I'm interested. But other than that, I'm not that much interested in most of the other things. I like it when relationships play a role in the story, but not romantic relationships alone concentrated as such. Since it's a huge part of this entire series itself, I don't think I'll be reading this. The next one is an urban fantasy, and it is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I was very much interested in reading this in the beginning, okay? Like in my final days of college, I was interested in reading this series because it is short and all the books in the series are also very short. But I've heard only many bad things about the series because many people say that this just seems like a blend of all the fantasy series that have been published so far, but not presented in such a great way. It is also urban fantasy, so it's definitely not set in a very different world where we don't know anything that is present and the author has to do a lot of work in order to put us into that place. I've heard that there are also electronic equipments which play some role inside the series, so all these things, they just don't mesh well together or gel well together for me in the head. So I don't think it'll be a book which I'll be interested in while reading it. Also, usually when magic combines with technology, it is something which I don't that much enjoy, so I'm definitely not interested in reading this. The next one is not only a very famous series, but it's also a very famous movie franchise, and I'm talking about the 50 Shades trilogy by E.L. James. This is basically just an erotica trilogy, and fun fact, I do own the trilogy with me. It is actually packed up in a box because I don't feel like reading it anytime soon at all, and I don't think I'll be reading it for a few more months at least. I bought this during a time when I was not that much aware with my taste when it comes to books, and I also did not know that the series is completely erotica. I thought that it was a thriller series which had erotica along with it, but only now in the past 2 or 3 years I know that it is a series which is basically erotica but also has some other elements that are put into it. I'm not a person who's not going to read the series just because it's erotica, and I don't think that people who like erotica are also people who need to be ashamed of, because everyone enjoys different things. For example, I like fantasy and I enjoy reading fantasy, and those books are just books which contain information about things that don't even exist. If I can enjoy such stuff, I think people just need to be left alone to enjoy erotica as well. As of now, I'm not interested in reading this, so I'm including it in the list. And since it's very famous, many people have asked me whether I've read 50 Shades or not. I might read it sometime in the future, but as of now, I don't think so. Next one is another dystopian series, and it is Shatter by Tahereh Mafi. While saying the name of the series itself, I am not able to control my laughter because the things that I felt after finishing this one were like super weird for me itself, because the ability or power that this main character has itself is super unique and very powerful. Okay, her touch actually causes pain, but I don't see that main character using that power anywhere at all. I can understand that it is a power which not many people will like to have, and it can just hurt anyone very easily. But if the main character had actually used the power where it was necessary, instead of just thinking how much problems it can cause to other people and to herself within her mind itself, if she had done at least 10% of the things that she thought in her mind, I think the story would have progressed in a more positive way, and it could have resulted in a better ending for many people, as far as I've read from the first book itself. Mainly, I don't like the character, and I don't see how she's going to use her power and how she's also going to learn to use her power in the future as well. The romance in this one was something which I did not like. It just felt super superficial to me. Even after hearing all these things, I'm definitely not interested in continuing on with the series. The last series in this list is a super famous adult epic fantasy series, and the fandom for this series is super huge. The series is also completely wrapped up, and I need not wait for any of the further books in the series as well. And I'm talking about the MALAZEN Book of the Fallen series by Steven Erickson. Okay, I've heard that this is one of the toughest fantasy series to read at all, because I've heard that the first few books in the series, I think there are totally 9 books, and of those, the first 3 or 4 books just concentrate on building the world itself, and they don't make that much sense at all. But as we keep reading the books and towards the climax, everything just comes together in a very masterful way. I've heard such good things about this one, which is so intimidating for me, because I want some things to piece together while I'm reading my books. I don't want everything to make sense in the beginning itself. I can wait until the end to see things making sense. But seeing the size of the books, I think each and every book is at least 800-900 pages long. I know that the fandom is very huge, and if I start reading the series, they will help me to maneuver my way through the series. I've also heard that the prose in the series is super gorgeous. That is, we can just quote out many lines from the book as such. It is also very philosophical and concentrates a lot more. Just because of the fact that it is so intimidating, I don't think I'll be reading it for at least a year. But I'm sure that if I start reading this, I will be helped by the fandom a lot more, because I know that there are many people who are out there who have read these books, loved them, and lived with them. I definitely want to become a part of this fandom, but not right away. So yes guys, those are the 10 series which I'm definitely not interested in reading, at least as of now, some even forever. Don't forget to leave series that you are not interested in reading in the comments below. I'd like to see through them, and if you think that I have to read any of these series sooner than later, drop that also down in the comments. I'll try to get to them as soon as I can if I'm interested. And if you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel, because I publish new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.